Before Loki Laufeyson was known as a god, before his name was whispered with fear or laughter across the 9 realms, he was a child left to die. On the frozen battlefield of Jotunheim, the realm of the frost giants, war raged between ice and thunder. Odin, All-Father of Asgard, led his golden army against King Loki. The clash of realms shook the stars themselves. When the war finally ended, Odin walked among the fallen and found something unexpected. A small blue-skinned infant lay crying. In the snow. Too small, too weak. Abandoned by his own kind, Odin felt the weight of destiny shift in that moment. Against prophecy, against reason, he lifted the child and whispered ancient magic over him. The child's skin warmed, turning the golden tone of Asgard. His frostborn heritage was hidden beneath illusion. Odin named him Loki, and in doing so, unknowingly set in motion a story that would bend time, fracture realities, and challenge the very idea of fate. Chapter 1. The shadow beside the sun. Loki grew up in the halls of Asgard as the younger prince, raised alongside Thor, Odin's trueborn son. Thor was everything Loki was not: strong, loud, beloved. The warriors cheered Thor's victories. The people praised his courage. Loki I watched. He studied. Where Thor swung his hammer, Loki wielded words. Where Thor relied on strength, Loki relied on wit. He learned magic in secret, mastering illusions, shape-shifting, and sorcery that few in Asgard understood. Yet no matter how clever he became, Loki lived in Thor's shadow. At feasts, Thor was celebrated. Loki stood to the side, smiling, applauding. Hiding the growing storm inside his heart, Odin loved Loki, but differently, more cautiously. As if afraid of what Loki might become. And Loki felt it. Chapter 2. The truth that shattered a prince, the lie unraveled the day Thor was banished. When Odin stripped Thor of his power and cast him to Midgard, Loki believed finally his moment had come. He stood beside his father, loyal, calm, ready. Then he touched the casket of ancient winters. His skin turned blue. The truth slammed into him like a blade through the soul. Loki, I was not Asgardian. He was the son of Loki, the enemy Odin had slain. Every memory, every affection, every victory suddenly felt false. A lifetime of love twisted into a cruel experiment. Odin confessed he had taken Loki as a political pawn, a chance at peace. A tool. Loki's laughter echoed through the empty halls that night, sharp and broken. He was not born to be a king. He was born to be a secret. Chapter 3. A throne built on lies. Consumed by rage and betrayal, Loki seized the throne of Asgard, while Odin fell into the Odin sleep. He convinced himself that ruling would prove his worth, that destiny could be rewritten. But ruling through fear only deepened his isolation. When Thor returned, changed by humility and sacrifice, Loki saw something worse than hatred in his brother's eyes. Pity. Their final battle at the Bifrost tore brother against brother. Loki chose pride over reconciliation, releasing his grip and falling into the abyss of space. As he vanished, one thought echoed in his mind: if I cannot be loved, I will be feared. Chapter 4. The villain the world needed. Loki survived. Pulled from the void, broken and bitter, he was found by darker forces, beings who promised him power and purpose. They gave him an army, a weapon, and a mission. Earth. In New York, Loki descended like a god of chaos, opening a portal for an alien invasion. He wanted the world to kneel not for conquest, but for validation. Yet even as he ruled from the shadows, something gnawed at him. The Avengers stood together, flawed, divided but united, and Loki stood alone, defeated, humiliated, and captured. Loki was taken back to Asgard in chains. The God of Mischief had fallen. Chapter 5. The trickster who survived. Time passed. Loki died. Or so everyone believed. He faked his death during the battle against the Dark Elves, sacrificing himself for Thor only to steal the throne once more. This time not with war, but with illusion. Disguised as Odin, Loki ruled quietly, empty and bored. The throne he once desired felt hollow. Eventually, Thor uncovered the truth. Instead of execution, Thor offered Loki a choice: help him stop Hela, the goddess of death. Loki agreed because survival was his greatest talent. Chapter 6. Ragnarok. In the end of home, Ragnarok came like fire from the sky. Asgard fell. Thor became a king. Loki became something else. During the escape, Loki chose to save his people. Not for glory, not for a throne, but because for the first time he wanted to. Then Thanos arrived. Loki tried one final trick. One final betrayal to save his brother. It failed. With Thor forced to watch. Thanos crushed Loki's throat. The God of Mischief died not as a villain, but as a brother. Chapter 7. The Loki who escaped fate, but fate was not done with Loki. In another timeline during the chaos of the Avengers time heist, Loki picked up the Tesseract and vanished. This Loki had not grown, had not loved, had not died. He was captured by the Time Variance Authority, TVA, a bureaucratic nightmare that claimed to control all of time. There, Loki learned a horrifying truth. His life was a script. Every victory, every failure, every death. Pre-written. Chapter 8. The man in the mirror forced to watch his future. Loki saw everything. His mother's death, his reconciliation with Thor, his sacrifice, his meaningless end for the first time. Loki did not laugh. He wept. Because the greatest trick ever played on Loki was fate itself, and he was tired of being a joke. Chapter 9. Sylvie and the choice of free will. Loki met Sylvie, another version of himself. Not a reflection, but a challenge. She was everything he could have been. Brave, scarred, relentless. Together, they reached the end of time. There, they met the architect of destiny. One choice: rule the timeline, or destroy it. Sylvie chose chaos. Loki chose caution. She killed the one who controlled time and shattered reality. The multiverse was born, and Loki was left alone. Again. Epilogue. The god who chose meaning in the endless branches of reality, Loki finally understood. He was not destined to lose. He was not born to be a villain. He was not a mistake. He was necessary, not as a king, not as a conqueror, but as a protector of stories. Standing at the center of time itself, Loki made the ultimate sacrifice, binding the multiverse together, alone, eternal. No throne, no applause, no glory. Just purpose. And for the first time in his long, complicated life, Loki was free.